Bring out the worm again, 15 worm burpees, that's synchro between all four, into 15 worm squats, and then woman 1. All of the women complete legless or rope climbs in a bunch of variations. So you'll see as they move through this workout, we start with the hardest variation, a seated legless, and then we move into 2 legless, not from a seated position, and then 3 regular rope climbs. The guys doing something similar, but starting with strict chest to wall handstand push-ups, and then going into regular strict handstand push-ups, and then 20 kipping handstand push-ups. So 60-minute time cap, a lot of work to be done here, and just a kind of sliding scale of difficulty over here.
Yeah, no, CrossFit really does like they're all over, and they really and truly have tested every single aspect of this competition. You know, we've had synchro across the team, then a full team workout, individual work. It's really has been a beautiful program, if you ask me, in terms of everyone's had to be there. Now, again, we look at this arena, your game is going to be exposed. If you're strong as a team, it's going to be there, but also if you're strong as an individual, you're there to give your team more. But these legless rope climbs, as we saw in the individuals, they're not easy, they're not fun, and they're on anything but it's just grit. This is that grunt work, that deep, hardcore, nasty grunt work.
Right there on your screen, we had the unboxed rookies. The second team to your leading team for the weekend, Unboxed Mayhem Africa. A couple of teams finished with their first set of 15 burpees and moving straight into 15 synchro squats.
Now look at that. The worm is one of those things. I mean, it's an interesting piece of equipment based on the fact that you've just got to get it done. You know, the worm wiggles, it wobbles. It's called the worm, let's be honest. I don't need to talk about it. But it's not a solid bar. So the height differences do play a factor into this. I mean, with our heavy athletes, obviously, generally it looks like they take more weight. But I'm going to go ahead and say that a lot more of that weight gets distributed towards our short athletes, where you see the worm drop down to their shoulder height. You can see the different techniques. Some athletes moving further back, taking the weight off the female shoulder, hanging off the front like up there. I mean, that's a lot more weight on the leaders.
Right over here, you got the Unboxed Rookies and Motley Crue CrossFit Blue making their way back underneath the rig, where now you will see at the same time the 2 women each complete 1 seated legless rope climb, and the 2 men each complete 10 strict chest to wall handstand push-ups.
This is where we talk about that, you know, that ability, that whole new game. I mean, how many of these ladies and men have practiced these legless rope climbs? I mean, most times, as we saw in the individuals, it's basically down to the fact a lot of the guys have done legless up, but the legless down is where a lot of athletes got caught. You know, and the rules here were so strict being sent out by CrossFit HQ that the fact that any slippage or sliding is deemed a no rep. I mean, I watched hearts break. It was beautiful carnage out there, to be honest with you.
Right over here, you got Tamar from CrossFit Juggernaut Triumph team. Not getting that rep just because her second hand wasn't above the rope. So another one of those standards right over here. Let's just take a look at the Unboxed Rookies making light work of that first rope climb.
Oh, yeah, no, it is beautiful to see. And I mean, it's even down to what they call a pinch. So if your legs close around that rope and the judge sees that it looks like a pinch, it's a no rep. Like, there was some, fair calls when they was closing. They were 100% fair calls. But when you just look in the athlete's eyes, you just like, and I go speak to the judge after, you just see they're heartbroken, man. They don't, like they say, judges do not want to give no reps.
There you go on the far left of your screen. Lisa Clarence having a go from Juggernaut Triumph, just not quite getting halfway up that rope.
That rope burn, man. You come down like a fireman and you can't use your thighs. I've watched athletes just melt the flesh off of their hands, and it's painful to watch and it's heartbreaking to see. Like I said, man, this is where some of the teams are going to get stuck. There's nothing you can do about it. This is I mean, we saw the individual athletes, the top 30 females in the world, some of those ladies in the continent. We saw some of those ladies get caught. And even that downward, I mean, you saw Keegan Muir, he's a big guy. He came down, he got, I think it was like 5 centimeters between his bum and that mat. And you have to be in control before you touch the mat, otherwise it's a no rep. There you go. Both hands over the line.
Michelle fighting to hold on.
There you go. No rep, given the slip.
So even if both hands are in contact with the rope, but you slide down and you don't control the walk down, the rep does not count. But over here, Motley Crue CrossFit Blue have got both of their female athletes through the ropes and both of their male athletes starting onto the rope climbs. The females now.
Yeah, like we said, it's a case of you just got to get through the work, man. Like, doesn't matter which way you look at it, you've just got to get the work done. You're not going to avoid it. You're not going to hide from it. It is what it is. Yes, these are different techniques. I mean, even these handstand push-ups, this is down to the leverage. If you've got a short torso and long arms, it's going to play against you. On the other end, if you're like Christina Levitakis, it could play into your favor. I mean, she came storming back in that last individual event. But again, look at the kip, the long kip from these athletes, making sure that they get those hands above that tape, because these judges, although it may seem brutal, those are the rules. Standards are standards, rules are rules. I love those little safety ninja rolls out there. They make for some interesting viewing.
Very efficient.
Again, this is unfortunately one of those things where you could just watch your teammate, and with your, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, in this, I don't expect to see many people just trying everything they've got in the last few minutes of this workout in the next heat. But for now, I mean, it's heartbreaking to know that you're giving everything you can for your team, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just not enough.
As you can see, just these legless rope climbs just taking its toll on these athletes.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Loving encouragement. And that's all athletes ever want, seriously. Like, when they're out here, no matter what, you take nothing away from them. They are the top of the continent of Africa, and it is a beautiful thing to watch these athletes throw down.
Unbox rookies now. Both men are through the rope portion. And we're just finishing off with their second female needing to get through 10 strict chest-to-wall handstand push-ups.
And like I said, you can see some of these athletes, if you look to their feet, the way they're trying to move their feet around to enable to slide, because there is, I know it's just perspex, but man, does it grab the bottom of your shoe like glue. Guy's just trying to stretch out there, showing his teammate how to get through it. This is, it's say one thing about CrossFit. I know these athletes are in essence out there alone, but their team will try and do and coach whatever it takes to help their athletes just get one rep. Because in this game, one is literally the difference between winning and losing. And I say that because if we look to the individual stats on the females, there's 1 point difference between Mariska and Michelle Basnett, Mariska Smith and Michelle Basnett. So that is going to be an all-time final in the women's individuals. So the team's back onto their worm burpees. And again, none of these workouts are actually done until they literally are done. And that's it. And that's the one thing again. I mean, you saw in the individual men, Justin Holiday coming a bit unstuck, but he's a big guy. It looked like he was the only one that may have been able to catch Jason Smith. But we'll have to see in the points. Please don't take my word for it. I just read the stats as they come out, and we'll have to see what happens there. But right now, all eyes are on this team event. This is the first heat of the teams.
Right over here, at the bottom of your screen is the unboxed rookies onto their second round, and directly behind them, the Motley Crue CrossFit Red team. Both Motley Crue CrossFit teams are in here, red and blue, and they are both in lane 5 and 6, respectively. This is lane 5 over here.
Man, I love these event T-shirts. They had their names on the front or their boxing on the front, and then every athlete's name on the back. They really are something special. Yo, what an event. Seriously, I can't say this enough. And again, you can hear it in my voice. And I'm on the mic. I don't need to shout. I don't need to scream. But it's palpable. Seriously, it's too incredible to be out there just sharing the floor with these athletes. Even never mind that I'm not throwing down with them.
Motley Crew Red just progressing their worm and moving back to their second round. Now, moving into the second round, you'll see a slight change in the movement. So round 2 is just 2 regular legless rope climbs without starting in a seated position, and 15 strict handstand push-ups without facing the wall.
This is that thing that CrossFit does, and you're just like, oh, it's going to be like this. And they're like, no. We're going to test everything. So if you've worked a lot on your stricts and you've neglected your kipping, for instance, they're going to find you. And if you've done all your kipping work and neglected your strict work, they will hunt you down in their programming and expose you. Ten and a half minutes on the clock with just a 16-minute time cap. Look at the speed that lady going up that rope. There you go. Now these athletes allowed to use technique, or basically, I think it's the fireman descent, which is pretty cool.
As you can see, it makes a big difference to the speed that these ladies can get up the rope. That was Tatum Naidu on your screen right there, repping Motley Crew CrossFit Red.
I mean, the speed, now I've said, like I said, that technique takes everything. And, and the sport is that. That is the sport of CrossFit. Like, yes, you need strength. Yes, you need endurance. Yes, you need all these things. But if your technique isn't there, man, you're putting yourself at a seriously disadvantage. And again, something we saw in the individuals, like Amna and I've nicknamed him, the technical assassin, Ruan Potgieter. What a treat to watch that man go overhead. End of that whole workout, upper body dominant, still went 20 unbroken overhead handstand, overhead squats. Beautiful view there. Unfortunately, we couldn't see what was happening, but hey, this is what live TV is. I think some teams are just so pumped that the athletes get one. This is that thing. This is the difference between CrossFit and 99% of other sports. Everybody loses their mind just if you manage to do something that's a PB for you. It doesn't have to be great in the world. It's just going to be special to you, and we want to be there to celebrate with you.
Okay, you can see, as I mentioned yesterday, in this team right here, Motley Crew CrossFit Red, I got some word from Ty that 2 of the members in this team are actually travelers from Germany. They tend to come down, join the box for 3 months over the course of the Open, and then, qualified for quarterfinals this year, and asked if they could keep their spots in the team.
That's pretty rad, man. You've got to love that faction. Actually, I think I follow them on Instagram, and of course, for the life of me, I cannot tell you what their Instagram handle is. I think it's the CrossFit
programming?
Life. Is it box programming? The CrossFit Life? Give us a second. We'll check it out. I'm sure it's okay. We've got divided opinions here. One of us is going to win. There's $5,000 on this bet.
I got you that the 2 athletes are on an online training portal called the Box Programming.
Damn it, you win.
$5 in the bank. Okay, right over here, Selna Bester, just struggling a little bit to get through her wall-facing handstand push-ups. As you can see, just towards the back end of this workout, just full effort going on here. These teams trying to get as far as possible, encouraging each other through. Everyone just trying to finish their workout or their weekend on an absolute high. This will be these athletes' final workout, final event, final time on this floor.
This year.
Until next year, hopefully.
You literally took the words out of my mouth, you little bugger. But yeah, you know what? I mean, Matt, you've done an absolutely exceptional job up here in the podium. I mean, you guys can't see, but the lights in here, it is warm. Matt, trooper to you, man. You and Kent, you guys have really held it down up here in the bird's nest, and it's been epic. I've only heard good things on the live stream, and from me down on the floor, thanks, guys. It's been epic.
There we go. Evan Gilmore just getting through his rope climb. 90 seconds left on the clock. And Motley Crew CrossFit Red are really making their way through this workout now. They're starting out their third set, so if they are able to get through 15 and 15, their final set underneath the rig there will comprise of 3 rope climbs, 3 normal rope climbs, and then 20 kipping handstand push-ups.
Man, this workout is not easy, no matter which way you look at it. But it is incredible to see the ability or talent step up each heat as we go through. Yeah, under 1 minute now until the time gap. Teams, I mean, it looks like this team, looks like they know they're ahead. There's still no time to coast because there's still points to be had across the board for these events. And no self-respecting athlete quits or gives up on themselves for anything. So they're going to all fight hammer and tongue to the very last second. Some of these teams just move so well together.
20 seconds left on the clock for teams test 6. This is the final test for the weekend. This is your first heat. 1 heat to follow.
And then that's all she wrote for the teams. Like I said, this is your penultimate heat. 1 more heat, the event is over, and we crown us a champion, and we get to send 4 rock star athletes off to CrossFit Games.